Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of Tokyo Fist, a violent Japanese drama from 1995 that was directed by Shinya Tsukamoto. Now, Tsukamoto himself stars as a salaryman named Tsuda, who has a very attractive and beautiful fiancé named Hizuru. Now, our protagonist runs into one of his high school friends, Tajuki, who is working as a semi-professional boxer. The problem here is that Tajuki continually visits Tsuda's house and makes it very clear that he is romantically interested in Hizuru. Now, after an altercation between these two men, Tsuda begins training rigorously at boxing in the hopes that he can pummel Tajuki into leaving him and his girl alone. Now, Tokyo Fist is basically a film that takes a stance of, I guess you would call it philosophical masochism. You have this desensitized businessman and his fiancée who develop self-awareness and liberation through their pain and suffering via boxing and self-mutilation, respectively. Now, this theme should be no surprise to you if you're a fan of this director, because a number of Tsukamoto's films have concerned this concept of growth through pain or suffering. So, for example, the protagonist in Gemini is confronted with reality after he's thrown down a well. In like manner, the protagonist in A Snake of June becomes closer to her husband after being coerced into expressing her sexuality in uncomfortable situations. So looking at Tsukamoto's filmography as a whole, his perspective on city life is that it can make you desensitized and lifeless, in a sense, almost zombie-like. And because of that, you need something to jolt you out of your lethargic everyday existence. Now, the lovebirds in Tokyo Fist live a very sterile, repressed life in an environment that reflects that. And this is efficiently communicated through the many shots of Tokyo's pristine cityscapes and walkways, which are juxtaposed later on, or actually pretty close near the beginning of the film, with the grimy, sweaty boxing gym. You know what I mean? So you have that comparison visually. And be sure to pay attention to the reactions that our lead character has when he's confronted with something that's ugly or in a state of decay. Also, this man has chronic fatigue and is in a sexless relationship with his fiancée. So both of our leads are in desperate need of regaining their vitality. And one way to feel alive is to endure physical pain, which can act as a gateway to rebirth. And that's the basic theme of the film. But Tokyo Fist has a lot of thought-provoking content to it. There's rampant visual communication that will force you to pay attention to the little details in order to understand the characteristics or the characters and their motivations. Very multidimensional characters in this who have nuance to their personalities. So in fact, one of the people in this film seems like they're going to be controlled by this furious rivalry between these guys. But it does not turn out that way at all. And I loved some of the character arcs in this film. Really interesting stuff. There's also some symbolism and surrealism that will get your mind churning. Another thing that I really enjoy about this movie that is very visceral in its visual style, it immediately grabs you and continues to pull you into the story. The violence, extremely exaggerated. When someone gets beaten badly in a boxing match or a street fight, they bleed profusely, and their face looks like a hideous, deformed monster or something. It's totally unrealistic, but the excessiveness actually goes perfectly with the frenetic pacing, the visual style, the editing, and the themes. I still have trouble explaining in detail why Tsukamoto's brand of excessiveness always works so well for me, or most of the time it works so well for me. And there are other directors out there whose brand of excessiveness just annoys the crap out of me. There's just something Tsukamoto has where it makes him really special. He's able to create these movies that are crazy and violent and in your face and energetic, but also thought-provoking, fun, and even beautiful. So I really like that whole collection of cornucopia of qualities to his films. The lighting in Tokyo Fist nicely uses deep hues like blue, yellow, and orange, which I really liked. You know, it's kind of nice on the eyes despite a really low budget. And yeah, I mean, I don't want to say anything more to spoil anything for you, because this is really interesting stuff. And it's a film that gets better every time I watch it. So I highly recommend this movie. It is moderately available on DVD and Blu-ray, but many of the versions that are available are the UK releases. So most of the releases I think will be region 2, but there are a lot that actually have subtitles. So have at it. And as always, I will see you next time.